Hi, this is American English with Linda, and today we're going to talk about different ways to say yes and no, and sometimes very strong yes and no. So we're going to look first of all at 4 conversations that use some of the examples we'll be talking about. A son and a father are talking. So the son says, "Please, I'm begging you, Dad, can I take the car to the party?" If the father says yes, it might be, "Absolutely, son. Just be sure to put gas in it before you come home." Or if the father says no, "Absolutely not. You have only had your driver's license for 2 days." Another conversation between a daughter and a mom. Daughter says, "Mom, please, I'm begging you. Can we keep the puppy I found?" And the mom, if she says yes, might say, "Sure, you can, but you have to promise to take good care of it." Or if the mom says no, "No way, we don't have room in our apartment to keep a puppy." And then between an employee and a supervisor, "Please, I'm begging you, let me take 3 days of vacation next week." If the supervisor says yes, he might say, "You bet. You have put in a lot of overtime lately and deserve it." Or if the supervisor says no, "Sorry, not possible. We are short-handed right now and need everyone on site. Maybe next month." Then we have some students talking to the teacher. Students say, "Please, teacher, we're begging you. Can we skip the test tomorrow?" The teacher might say, "Of course. Many of you have been sick and absent for several days. You can take it later." Or if the teacher says no, "Out of the question. You have known about the test for 3 weeks and have had plenty of time to study." And so let's look at the vocabulary that is involved in saying yes or no in English. And it can mean yes or no, I agree, I don't agree, or that's right, or that's not right. But we're going to compare some of these, and sometimes going across their exact opposites and sometimes not. But we're going to say yes and no in many different ways. One way is to say, "I agree," or "I don't agree," or "I disagree." And this one is very common in normal conversations that are not formal conversations. Uh-huh, uh-uh. And you can do it with your mouth closed. Mm-hmm, mm-mm. Do you hear the little in here? Uh-huh, mm-hmm. And in here there's a break. Mm-mm, mm-mm. These are very common. Mm-hmm, mm-mm. Uh-huh, uh-uh. And then we have yeah, or we have nah, or nah. It's very ugly sound. And then we have yep, or nope. That little P on the end sometimes just stops, but you can do a pop if you want. Nope, or nope. And those are some ways that we say yes or no. And here are some more that are strong yes or no phrases. Absolutely. Absolutely not. Of course. Of course not. Definitely. Definitely not. Correct. False. Untrue. You bet. No way. You can bet on it. No way, Jose. Now, Jose is a name from the Spanish-speaking culture, but because it rhymes, sometimes we use the name Jose just for fun. It doesn't mean we're speaking to someone named Jose. No way, Jose. You can count on it. not happening. I swear, or it's true, not true. Is so, ain't so. That's very slang. Ain't so. And the reason they're both in red is because they might be together. Not true, ain't so. Sure, or for sure. Not a chance. You can take it to the bank. That means it's as good as a good check. Take it to the bank, you'll get your money. You can take it to the bank. It's true. Not even remotely possible. No doubt, or no doubt about it, or forget it. And sometimes we use this idiom, as sure as death and taxes. It's sort of a joke that these are two things in life you cannot get out of, death and taxes. And going across from this double line, impossible or out of the question, and more of them. Obviously, obviously not. Most assuredly, that's a hard no. Positively, it's got a snowball's chance in hell. Hell is supposed to be very hot. If you put a snowball there, it will melt immediately. So it's no chance. The snowball has no chance. So that's a no. And then we use phrases that are actually statements that are true. And so we mean that it's true. Is the Pope Catholic? Yes, the Pope is a Catholic, of course. So the answer is yes. And somebody asks a question, we'll say, is water wet? Of course water is wet. So the answer is yes. Is sugar sweet? Yes. And you could use many, many of those. Something that's obviously true, the question form is used as a yes answer. And then we have not in my lifetime, or not in this lifetime. It's often used that way. Don't even go there. It's not even to be considered. Don't even go there. And then there are also sentences on this side, statements that can never happen. So the answer is a no. When pigs fly, pigs don't have wings. They're fat and heavy. They're not going to fly. So when pigs fly, that means no. When hell freezes over, there's hell again. It's a very hot place. It's not going to freeze over. The answer to that is no. And this is no. So that's a way of saying no in a very strong way. I hope that helps. I'll be going back to more traditional grammar and vocabulary things next time, but I wanted to throw this in. Hope it helps. Thank you.